My wife was the saint of the children's hospital. I installed a hidden camera to find out why our daughter never got better. What I saw destroyed my soul. My name is David. I'm an accountant. A boring job for a boring man. My wife, Andrea, was the opposite. She was vibrant, charismatic, and deeply compassionate. She was a former pediatric nurse who'd given up her career to care for our medically fragile daughter, Lily. For 4 years, our lives revolved around hospitals. Lily, our 6-year-old, was a medical mystery. It started when she was 2. Unexplained fevers, seizures, violent bouts of vomiting that would leave her dehydrated and limp in my arms. We saw specialists in Boston, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. No one could find a diagnosis. They called it failure to thrive or idiopathic autoimmune dysfunction. Andrea was a rock. She managed the medications, the feeding tubes, the central lines. She started a blog called Lily's Light that had over 500,000 followers. She raised money for the hospital. She was featured on the local news as the Mother of the Year. I felt useless. I was just the dad who stood in the corner of the hospital room holding a stuffed bear, terrified that my little girl wouldn't wake up. I trusted Andrea with my life. I trusted her with Lily's life. I didn't know that the monster we were fighting wasn't a disease. It was the woman sleeping next to me. The pattern was always the same. Lily would be doing okay at home for a few weeks. She would gain a little weight. She would laugh. We would think, maybe this is it. Maybe she's turning a corner. Then Andrea would say, "Dave, she looks pale today." Or, "Her sodium levels are dropping. I checked her output." Within 24 hours, Lily would be in the ER screaming in pain, her body seizing. Andrea would be by her side, calm and efficient, rattling off medical history to the nurses. "She needs a bolus of saline. She needs Zofran. Check her electrolytes." The doctors loved Andrea. She spoke their language. She made their jobs easier. But about 6 months ago, I noticed something. I was at work, and Andrea called me hysterical. "Lily is seizing. I called 911. I rushed to the hospital. Lily was stabilized, sleeping. A young resident doctor, Dr. Park, was in the hallway. He looked confused. "Mr. Miller," he said, "can I ask you something odd?" "Anything," I said. "When did the seizure start?" My wife said around 10 a.m. Dr. Park frowned. "Her blood work came back. Her sodium is critically high, hypernatremia. Usually that happens from dehydration, but her hydration levels are fine. It's almost like she ingested a massive amount of salt." I shook my head. "That's impossible. She's tube-fed. She doesn't eat solid food." "Right," Dr. Park said, looking at Andrea through the glass window. "Just odd." That night, I asked Andrea about it. "Doctors make mistakes, Dave," she snapped, looking offended. "Her kidneys are failing. That causes electrolyte imbalances. Why are you questioning me? Do you have a medical degree?" I backed down. I felt guilty for even thinking about it. 3 months ago, I had to go to Chicago for a week-long conference. I didn't want to go, but we needed the money. The medical bills, even with insurance and the GoFundMe donations, were drowning us. "Go," Andrea said, kissing me. "Mom helps me. We'll be fine." While I was in Chicago, I FaceTimed them every night. Lily looked better. Her cheeks had color. She was sitting up in bed, drawing. "She's having a good week," Andrea said, smiling. I came home on Friday. Lily ran to the door to hug me. It was the strongest she had looked in years. Saturday morning, I woke up early to make coffee. Andrea was still asleep. I heard a noise in Lily's room. I walked in. Lily was playing with her dolls. "Hey, Bug," I whispered. "How are you feeling?" "Good, Daddy," she said. "Mommy gave me my special juice last night, but I spit some of out when she wasn't looking because it tastes like ocean water." I froze. "Ocean water?" I asked, kneeling down. "Yeah, the salty medicine. Mommy says it makes the bad germs go away, but it burns my throat." My blood ran cold. Salt. Dr. Park's voice echoed in my head. Hypernatremia. I went into the kitchen. I opened the fridge where Andrea kept the pre-mixed formula bags for Lily's tube feeding. I poured a tiny drop of the formula onto my finger and tasted it. I almost gagged. It wasn't just salty, it was saturated. It was like drinking pure soy sauce concentrate. If a child drank this, or if it was pumped directly into her stomach, it would cause seizures, brain damage, even death. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to wake Andrea up and scream, but I stopped myself. I'm an accountant. I deal in evidence. If I confronted her now, she would deny it. She would say I contaminated it. She would say I was crazy. She was the saint. Everyone loved her. Who would believe me? I needed proof, irrefutable proof. I took the bag of formula I had tasted, poured a sample into a small vial I used for my contact lenses, and hid it in my briefcase. Then I did something that made me feel like a criminal in my own home. I bought 3 hidden cameras. One looked like a smoke detector for Lily's room. One was a USB charger for the kitchen. One was a digital clock for the living room. I installed them on Monday while Andrea was at the grocery store. I also took the sample to a private lab in the city. I paid for a rush analysis. The results came back on Tuesday. Sodium chloride concentration, lethal levels. Wednesday night, I told Andrea I had to work late. I sat in my car, 2 blocks away, watching the camera feed on my phone. My heart was hammering against my ribs so hard it hurt. At 7 p.m., Andrea went into the kitchen. She wasn't crying, she wasn't stressed, she was humming. I watched her take a container of Morton's iodized salt. She poured half a cup of it into the blender. She added water, she added the formula, she blended it. Then she pulled out something else, a bottle of ipecac syrup, which induces vomiting. She added a capful. She poured the toxic sludge into the feeding bag. She walked into Lily's room. I watched on the smoke detector camera. Lily was sleepy. "Time for dinner, baby," Andrea cooed. Her voice was so sweet. It was the voice of a mother. "Mommy, no," Lily whined. "My tummy hurts." "This will make it better," Andrea said. She hooked the bag up to the G-tube port in Lily's stomach. She turned the machine on. I watched the liquid flow down the tube. I threw my phone onto the passenger seat, started the car, and drove. I didn't care about speed limits. I didn't care about red lights. I had to stop that machine. I burst through the front door. I ran to Lily's room. Andrea jumped. "David, what are you doing here?" I didn't answer. I ripped the tube out of the machine. I clamped it shut. "What the hell are you doing?" Andrea screamed, trying to push me away. "You'll cause an infection." "Get away from her," I roared. I had never yelled at my wife before. I picked Lily up. She was already looking groggy. "We are going to the hospital," I said. "She's fine. You're manic," Andrea shouted. "I'm calling the police." "Call them," I yelled back. "Call them, Andrea. Tell them to check the blender. Tell them to check the footage." She froze. Her face went pale. "What footage?" "The cameras," I spat. "I saw you. I saw the salt. I saw the ipecac." For a second, the mask slipped. The saint vanished. Her eyes went dead, cold, calculating. "You think anyone will believe you," she hissed. "I'm the mother. You're just the absent father who couldn't handle the stress. I'll tell them you did it. I'll tell them you're abusive." I didn't wait. I ran out the door with Lily in my arms. I drove to the ER. I didn't go to the usual hospital where Andrea knew everyone. I went to the university hospital across town. I ran in, screaming that my daughter had been poisoned. They took her immediately. I showed the attending physician the video on my phone. I showed him the lab report from the sample. The doctor's face turned gray. He hit a button on the wall. "Code gray. Security to pediatric ER. Lock it down." They pumped Lily's stomach. They started IV fluids to balance the sodium slowly because lowering it too fast causes brain swelling. Police arrived within 20 minutes. I gave them everything: the video, the sample, the months of notes I had started taking. While I was giving my statement, Andrea arrived. She walked into the lobby crying, playing the role of the terrified mother. "Where is my daughter? My husband kidnapped her." I watched from behind the security doors. I watched the officers approach her. I watched her confusion as they didn't comfort her, but instead asked her to turn around. I watched the handcuffs click. She started screaming, not for Lily. She was screaming, "Do you know who I am? I raised $50,000 for this hospital." The investigation was a horror show. They found searches on her laptop: lethal salt dose for 40-pound child, how to fake leukemia symptoms, sympathy gifts for grieving mothers. They found journals where she complained that Lily getting better was ruining her social media engagement. She had Munchausen syndrome by proxy, now called factitious disorder imposed on another. She loved the attention more than she loved her child. The likes, the donations, the pity, it was a drug to her, and Lily was the sacrifice. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Andrea's lawyer tried to plead insanity, but the video of her humming while mixing poison, proved premeditation. She was found guilty of attempted murder, aggravated child abuse, and wire fraud for the GoFundMe money. She was sentenced to 35 years in prison. It's been 2 years. Lily is 8 now. Physically, she's a miracle. Once she was away from Andrea, the seizures stopped, the vomiting stopped, she gained weight, she removed the feeding tube 6 months ago. She eats pizza now, she plays soccer. But the psychological scars are deep. For the first year, she asked for mommy every night. She didn't understand. She thought I was the bad guy for taking her away. We go to therapy twice a week. I had to sell the house. I couldn't live in that kitchen. I donated all the money Andrea had raised to a charity for victims of child abuse. I'm a single dad now. It's hard. I'm tired. But last night, I watched Lily sleeping. She wasn't hooked up to any machines. Her breathing was steady. She woke up, saw me watching her, and smiled. "Daddy?" "Yeah, Bug? Can I have some water?" I poured her a glass. She took a sip and sighed happily. "It tastes good. It doesn't hurt." That simple sentence broke me and healed me at the same time. I saved her. It cost me my marriage, my home, and my trust in humanity, but I saved her. And for the first time in 6 years, the monsters are gone.